We're back in open session. Time is
6:29.
29. All right, moving on to A, discussion regarding trustee Ms. Young's duties, responsibilities, and violations of the board operating procedures. Now, last week we had a board meeting, and a couple of days in, or a day after, I received numerous screenshots, text messages from 2 board members. I even got a phone call from a 3rd one in regards to some stuff going on social media. I'm gonna be honest with everybody. I don't do social media, first and foremost. That is my choice. People want to talk to me. People know where I live. People know I'm on the school board. You know, I'm always open to anybody coming over to talk. But the only thing I really cannot stand is when some of us use the platform as a school board member into social media and not so much right here at the table. And so, you know, I got a bunch of screenshots, and for the record, a lot of that information that was posted is completely false. I'm here to tell people. I'm literally here to tell people that meeting finished last week. You know, there goes social media. I get it the next day. I don't do it. So some of the information has been misled to this entire community of Crystal City.
Eric, how is it false? Why don't you let Mr.
Can you let me finish, please? Let me finish. Okay, let me finish. And then you can answer, then I'll go to you. So the fact that, and by the way, your timeline is completely off, okay? So you got one board member talking about staff members. So the next day, another board member posts some informational stuff. And then a couple of staff members decide to, chime in on it. So immediately I get emails. Okay, I get emails, and I'm gonna share those emails with you guys. All right. And one of those, it says, I sent this to TEA, Mr. David Ellis, to show how unprofessional HR, interim superintendent, Ms. Nora Guerrero, and Zavala principal are.
I did.
Okay, so this is my response, ma'am, and this is to the community. You know, in the past, Ms. Young has made numerous complaints to the state, Texas Education Agency. Mm-hmm. This is nothing new to continue to contact TEA for over 2 years with no result. The only result has been the need for the district to hire Thompson and Horton, which is a third-party law firm, to respond to numerous unfounded complaints made by Ms. Young. The word trustee is rooted in trust. I do not believe that the people of CC ISD should trust someone who is continually making her best efforts to bring down this school system, instead of finding common ground for the best interest and improvements of the district. All right, I go on to the next one. She states, but I violated board procedures. I have the right to answer and defend myself on Facebook. If Central doesn't like it, not my problem, she stated. Attorney fees are public record. They are paid for with public funds. Salaries are public record.
Well, salary schedules, not actual amounts.
That's what you typed. That's your mistake, not mine. It is highly unethical for a school trustee to degrade, disparage, criticize, ridicule, and constantly harass school employees in whatever capacity they serve the district. If a school trustee has an issue with any school district operation, they should state their position at the board table, right here where we stand and we sit here. Don't use a platform as a board on social media.
The same thing the night of the meeting that I said on Facebook.
Accordingly and behave in a professional manner. It seems as if a third grader can behave better than you, Ms. Young. Now, you posted something after the meeting last week, correct?
No.
Yes, you did.
I answered something on Ray's Facebook.
Yeah, but in that Facebook posting, ma'am, you spoke about 2 employees, and then the next day, those 2 employees state their opinions, and you say you have to defend themselves. How they have to defend themselves from you because you started the conversation. Am I right?
Nothing that I said.
No. Answer the question. Am I right?
Nothing that I said I did not say in this boardroom. We're top heavy at central office. They were given raises where every board member voted. That involves nepotism. I didn't say anything that was not correct.
Okay.
I did not say anything.
Mr. Cruz? Can you define nepotism, sir?
Sure. Nepotism is when there's a change in status, a promotion of an employee. What happened in this case, the reason why there is an exception to the nepotism rule is when you act as a group of employees to change their compensation, which is traditionally done in public school districts. There was no one person. If there was been one person that is going to be given a pay raise, just that one particular person, nepotism would apply, the person has to abstain. When you're talking about a group of employees getting an increase from 3% to 4%, 5% to 6%, there are AG opinions about that is not a violation of the nepotism rule. That's the response to that.
Thank you, sir.
So why are we encouraged at every meeting we go to, every training? It would be a lot more ethical if you just moved yourself away from the table and didn't vote for it.
That is not something that is legally you have to do unless you're talking about that one person. If there's one person relating to a brother and that brother's going to get a compensation increase or a promotion, that trustee needs to abstain from it, right? Not discuss it and not vote on it. But when you're talking about a group of employees, there is a published website that you can go to in the Attorney General's office. It's the name of the workbook is Nepotism Laws Made Easy. It's very easy to just go in there and look at that exception to the law.
Mr. Cruz, it makes no difference. We're still top heavy at central office. We haven't done anything
Ms. Young.
for teachers.
So the next one is, I also sent Mr. Ellis the minutes from the big raises Mr. Eddie Ramirez gave before his departure. Ellis said it was nepotism. Okay, so she has constantly communicated with David Ellis, the TEA investigator that has all these complaints. All right, I actually have to say that you don't speak for the rest of the district, ma'am. Nobody put you in charge to speak to TEA.
Oh, Eric, please.
Okay?
You have sat here for 2 years and you have made everything in the world happen for your wife. You've sat here for 2 years and you made sure that every interim we got took care of central office.
Okay, so let's move on. You want to talk about central office? So this is what this is my response is, all pay raises given to employees have been approved by the board, okay, at a public board meeting. Mr. Ramirez, whom Ms. Young chased off, was a good man with ethics and could have possibly been our superintendent for this district. He did not give any raises, as legally he cannot do so. All raises were provided as a result of compensation plan recommended by TASB, an outside entity that is not affiliated with CCISD. There was no nepotism violation because the vote taken was for a group of individuals, like y'all heard from our school district attorney, not one singular person. While Ms. Young states that Ellis states it was nepotism, it is interesting that no one on the board or the district has ever received this supposed opinion except Ms. Young, which I believe is a 100% misstatement. Now, at this point, I'm going to pass this over to Ms. Briones. Ms. Briones, there was also a comment on social media, ma'am, that apparently central office went from a pay scale of a 4 to a 6. Is that true?
That is not correct.
Can you please explain why they went to a 6 or what exactly happened?
So when the Board of Trustees met with Mr. Ramirez back in August of 2021, you all met to adopt the budget. And so one of the conversations that you all had either through budget workshop or different meetings with Mr. Ramirez, this is of course previous to me, was considering increasing the pay table for that teacher, for that first board group, so that the teachers could get a raise because of the different issues that had been brought forth before Mr. Ramirez, that some teachers, some sections of the teacher table had been frozen for quite a while. Mr. Ramirez did take a look into it, as did Dr. Gonzalez before him. And so, and again, I was not part of the conversations with the board at that time, but I know the conversations that we had in cabinet. Conversation was that that first teaching table was going to be modified to reflect the recommendations that had been made by TASB, which put beginning teachers at a beginning pay rate of about $44,000 or so. Okay, so that being the case, that was brought before the board, that was approved. What that essentially ended up doing is it ended up canceling what we had as an existing teacher, the first teacher table. Because the beginning rate in the new table was going to exceed the old table. So we did away with the old table, and that table that you all approved became the first table. So what we ended up having to do, or what Mr. Ramirez ended up having to do, is move all the different tables up one, because we were removing the lower end of the tables. So what Mr. Ramirez presented to you during that, either that workshop or that meeting, was directors at central office at table 6, because previously we had been at 5. But because everybody moved one table up, the directors were bumped over to 6, as were everybody else. That table was approved as Mr. Ramirez presented it to you. But at no point did the directors go from a table 4 to a table 6 by themselves. We moved because you all approved a table, and you gave, through your authority, Mr. Ramirez, the authority to change any disparities within the tables, as is noted in the minutes, dated August the 26th, I believe. At that meeting, Mr. Espinosa made a recommendation that, and I don't know if you remember this, Mr. Espinosa, you now, once the tables are set, to move the principals to AP5. So the original table had been approved. You presented to the board agreed, and so we had to come back to the board table, an additional meeting where we had to, by board action, move the principals to table 5, because you all wanted the principals together. Now, of course, once the principals are together, then we have to shift the assistant principals. Then in a prior board meeting, an additional board meeting back in September, then we had to also consider moving the assistant principals to 4, so that we can move the instructional coaches to 3. So these are all conversations that this board had, and all of the decisions have been board approved. We have all of your decisions here. But as far as the district office moving from a 4 to a 6, that did not happen.
Thank you,
So we
ma'am.
ignored the TASB survey that said we were already top-heavy at central office, which, by the way, when we get our first rating, is still going to show that.
Mr.
October.
Mr. Ramirez responded to the recommendations that this board gave him.
So then she goes.
He said goodbye after he did his bidding for the board president.
So then she goes on to state, you are the only one who gets everything done with the attorney. Well, you know what, Ms. Young, back in November 2020, you nominated me to be the board president. Thank you. So my reason I communicate only with the law firm is because our school board policy states so. In addition, the superintendent also communicates with the attorney again, because the local policy we adopted states so. If the board wants to give access for all trustees to call the lawyer, please place it on the agenda to change the policy. The policy we have regarding legal services is the same one that virtually all school districts have across the state of Texas, because it is recommended by TASB. If Crystal City wants to do something different other than other districts, let it be discussed at this board table. The next one, Ellis has all the bills. Mr. Ellis, Nora needs to understand I don't do big bills, you do. My complaints to TEA don't cost me a dime. This is a gross statement of the trust. The district had to employ a third-party law firm, Thompson & Horton, to respond to the mountain of complaints Trustee Young has filed against the district. It is very easy for someone to throw something on a piece of paper without facts, but it becomes extremely time-consuming and expensive for the school system to have to defund itself against unfounded accusations. To date, TEA has not found one negative violation against this district. All of Trustee Young's complaints to TEA have done nothing except to cause a huge waste of money that could have been used for teacher salaries that she claims she cares for. Now, speaking of that, there was another statement made on Facebook about HB 3. You want to explain that one, then?
So House Bill 3 funding, this is back, it goes back to 2019. The district at that time was mandated to increase teacher salaries. At that time, the Board of Trustees, and I don't know that all of you were members at that time, but the district approved anywhere between a 1% and a 3% raise for a very specific group of teachers, not for all of the teachers on that first salary table. And so it was approved by the board between 1% and 3%. The allotment, I would not be able to speak to right now because I don't know how the board approved for that allotment to be utilized across the district. That being said, the district was compliant when it came to those salaries. However, it was the responsibility then of the district to maintain the salaries, to keep the salaries growing. And so for whatever reason, the district froze salaries for a few years. I won't be able to speak to why the board froze salaries for a couple of years. I know that last year when Mr. Ramirez came in, prior to that, when Dr. Gonzalez came in, we knew we had to change. We knew we had to change that first salary table because it is the table that impacts those employees that work directly with students. And so the recommendation then was made, as is the recommendation tonight, for you all to consider a multi-tiered salary increase for the district. But the fact that we're proposing an additional increase for the district is not an HB3 requirement in the year 2022.
That was mandated for 1 year?
That's it, just for 19. And the districts were supposed to take the money that was sent and allocate it among the teachers.
That's only 1 year, when in Facebook you put it was several
That
years.
was it. That was it.
You put on Facebook, no, you put on Facebook that it was for several more years.
No,
No, you did, okay,
Well,
go,
we should've- we
it doesn't matter,
should've-
it doesn't matter, you lied to the community, so in all
when we were
honesty, you
looking-
probably owe them an
when we were working
apology.
on the budget, we put other things ahead of.
No, don't, we're just talking about HB3, man, okay? That's all we're talking about.
Sorry, we didn't take care of it.
No, we did take
For
care
our
of it.
teachers. No, we didn't.
So then, another statement, it says, I don't give a damn about being on the agenda, it just adds to my case to the community to get rid of you in November. Okay.
What?
I'm sorry?
I said, do what?
Okay, so you also stated that you don't give a damn about being on the agenda, and that it adds to your case to the community to get rid of me in November.
I don't care, Eric.
No, I understand you don't.
Everybody in this town knows that you're a one-man show.
Really? Everybody?
I promise you.
Okay, well.
Not those three or this one, but everybody in town knows that you're a one-man show.
Okay, sure, okay. Well, at least I'm not the one lying to the community, ma'am, and posting stuff that's not even true.
Eric,
That's the reason we're here today, Ms.
I
Young.
don't lie to the community.
Yeah, you have.
No, I don't.
You got caught, and you don't like it.
I don't care.
Exactly,
I could care
because you
less.
don't care for the community.
I could care less.
Okay, so-
Take care of the money for our.
So, it doesn't matter
Well, I
because
care about
you are just one vote in November, ma'am. The community elects board members. If the social media posts, theatrics are a way to get rid of someone from the board simply because the board member is trying to move the district forward, it is pretty sad that you have to do this and pretty much that you have to do this as a singular mission on the board instead of focusing on what a board member should, which is in the best interest of the students and the district. And it's evident, you didn't want junior high baseball or softball. You didn't want to buy our kids that are much deserved football uniforms last year.
You also have to look at money, Eric. If we don't have money, we can't spend it.
There was money and it was amended. That's technically the way it works. Okay, and then also, you don't understand the fact that there's football helmets, okay? I played the sport. Football helmets expire. And then sometimes when you take them for recertification,
People don't see what I see.
take them for recertification and they don't pass, guess what? The district has to buy more for the safety of our kids, which you don't care for, okay? Now, the last one here, it says, I was advised by an attorney, I don't know what attorney you spoke to turn over Juan Cruz, our school attorney, into the state bar again. Which, by the way, the first one you were unsuccessful. He said that he told you that it was very unethical that you and him do not bring board table any kind of negotiations with ex-finance director. You two just took it upon yourselves to go straight to a suit. Mr. Cruz, go ahead.
I want to address that because I think when you talk young about my license, it's like everybody else's license.
Mr. Cruz,
We have,
you have led this district $1 million the wrong way.
that is your opinion, and it's an opinion that's based on nothing but falsity, hate, because you have that.
I don't know, half of
What you
it.
post here is a bunch of hateful, deceitful, and what you do out there with people's livelihood, because I too have a family to support. You don't care about ruining somebody's trajectory of 27 years and working really hard to get to the point where I am at in my livelihood, coming from humble beginnings, from parents that didn't have an education, to where I'm at now, filing complaints against a license that is my only source of income because you feel that you want to take somebody's life and destroy it. Well, you know what, man?
Did you pass your ethics? Because I clearly see you.
I have none.
I clearly.
I have zero ethics.
I don't think so.
You like to lie to people.
I don't think
You
so.
like to stir up your community, not for the benefit of calculus, reading, social studies. What you do, man, is nothing but to create disruption, so that disruption in some form in your head helps out your school system. Well, it doesn't, man, because everybody here, I could see the trustees are uncomfortable with this whole setting. A setting, man,
my problem.
that you are creating.
That is
Because
my
you
problem.
create not only here, you create it out there. And a sanction, while other school trustees have an ethical obligation to the school system to, you know what, I was sanctioned, so therefore I will curb my behavior. I really don't think that
Sanctions don't mean a damn thing. No, they don't. No, they don't.
Thank you. That's
No, they don't.
according to you. But most
There's nothing in the law, there's nothing on the books, there's
people
nothing.
have a moral.
And you take the district's money to continue to draw up resolution after resolution. And every time I get aboard your attorney fees, nothing is ever brought to this table. It's a you and Eric and Sarah and Dina thing. Nothing is ever brought to this table, nothing.
What do you know about an ADA matter? What do you know about an FLMA?
Nothing, but we are attorneys. We are board members. We ought to know what we're spending our money on.
Every single time that they have a legal issue, they need to call you.
We have the right to know what we're spending $1 million on.
You, being a trustee, ma'am, you're a sad representation of a trustee. That's all I have to say.
That's okay. That's fine. I will not change. I will continue. So we'll see each other. So we'll see each other a lot.
Yeah, chime in. Any questions, anybody?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Say some stuff. Mr. Espinosa, do you have a relative that works for the district?
Relative, no, because of the nepotism law.
But are you married to somebody that works for the district? Bueno.
Sister.
What?
I do, I have a sister.
Alyssa?
I have a daughter.
I do. Eric?
My wife?
So I guess we're all,
It's all nepotism from all of us, right?
yeah, I guess, I don't know, for the exception of Mr. Bonilla. It's interesting, when I came to the board, I felt that we were gonna be a group of leaders that were gonna, move forward, make change, be positive. To my surprise, that hasn't been the case. You don't know how many times I've been wanting to quit, but I haven't.
Quit.
I haven't. No, the reason I don't, because of people like you.
Let me tell you something.
So.
We have violated.
No, hold on, I'm not done yet. What's very interesting, to my surprise, the people that I thought were gonna be against me or whatever have really taken me under their arm. And I appreciate that, Mr. Bonilla, Eric, and some of you who have, helped me, with the exception of you. What's very interesting, I have a text message that you wrote to my sister, who you're accusing of, and me, and it pisses me off. It pisses me off that all of a sudden you attack me, you attack Eric, when everybody else has relatives. It's only me and Eric, which is very interesting. Nepotism, okay? Just wondering, and this is Peggy, texting my sister. Just wondering, were you offered the principal position at BJ? You would have been perfect to follow your fourth graders. This is my sister's response. Hi, good morning. No, I wasn't. I didn't apply. Mrs. Hoffman is a wonderful mentor, and we make a great team. I'd rather continue learning from her as much as I can. You are a smart lady, as you know. We change policy, allow superintendent to hire. He has always had the authority to reassign. Fourth is a tough testing grade. And I'm not gonna go further, and this is evidence right here. So, I had nothing to do. Before I even came to the board, my sister was already working for the district.
It doesn't matter. And
Mr. Ramirez made that change. It wasn't because of me or anybody else. What changed, Peggy? You're right here telling her she's a great person.
said
All of
she's not
a sudden,
I
it's under nepotism.
never said she was not a great principal. I said that people that have family members should abstain from voting for them.
I have the nepotism rules right here, man. Right here. You want a copy of it so you can
I
learn?
have them, thank you.
You can learn?
I have them, thank you.
And what's
have
very interesting is, when are we gonna move forward? Every time that I feel that we're moving forward, you have to mess it up. You know what? No, hold on, I'm not done yet. You broke my heart, Peggy. You broke my heart. I thought we had a special moment over there in Galveston. But you broke my heart. You broke my corazón.
I can tell.
I shed a tear.
If we were
You know
sincere,
what? And you know what's very interesting? I'm not done yet, Peggy. I'm not done. When are we gonna move forward? When are we gonna be a group of leaders that can move forward? Because you know what? It affects everybody in the community. When we can agree as one, it affects everybody else. Everybody else.
no, y'all affect everybody.
Everybody else, because they're looking at you. Hey, everybody responded to what you put.
Not everybody.
I did,
When is it gonna change, Peggy? When are you gonna be a true leader?
whenever everybody stops violating the Open Meetings Act and everything else. You know, this is the only board I know that would drive down the road to another school district to get rid of their lone finalist and not bring it to the board table. Not bring it to the board table.
I just wanna-
You can attest to that.
I just want to say one thing. I mean, I don't know what happened when Mr. Garcia was elected for the school board. For 2 years, him and Peggy and Mr. Rodriguez were like this. I mean, they voted like this. I mean, they met. As a matter of fact, when I made the motion to hire Juan Cruz as the attorney, it passed 4-3. Peggy voted against, Vivas against, and Eric against. 3 days later or 4 days later, we had a special meeting, and the executive session, it had something to the effect that on the recording, I think it was left on or whatever, and that there was a comment that I had made, that I had gone to meet with Juan Cruz in Laredo to kind of, I don't know why, I mean, telling me, hey, buy me a big steak or something and I'll vote for you.
That was
And at
Joe.
that time, when we had the meeting, I think Mr. Ornia had checked it out with TA, I mean, and again, those three persons, Peggy, Uribe, and Eric, voted against you. So I don't know what happened. I mean, I don't know where the honeymoon ended or whatever. I mean, what? But for 2 years, I mean.
Things change, sir. Things
Well-
change. But you know what? It is what it is.
I'd like to respond on my behalf, Mr. Wilson, because we've always treated every trustee with respect. But I believe that I had a very good relationship with Ms. Young at the very beginning. When I had to do as the policy says, which is basically if a trustee has an issue, they have to go through the board president, superintendent. I think maybe she may have felt that I was not giving her the same type of service.
No, I understand policy, but I don't understand
I can't,
attorney fees that racked up on the monthly, but nothing is shared in this boardroom. We don't even know what's going on. We just pay the bills, which, by the way, the taxpayers pay.
so everything she's saying now was not a problem before. I'm just saying, coming from my perspective, that I believe that that triggered the change. But the policy that you have, unless 4 board members want to change it to have every single one of you talk to the school board president, but if Mr. Garcia is no longer the board president and Ms. Young becomes the board president, then I am going to be talking to Ms. Young and not to Mr. Garcia anymore. That's the way your policy is.
With any other board president, it would be okay, but not with
I requested at one time that I wanted to, as vice principal, to be added to be able to communicate, because I know, I mean, sometimes he's very busy.
Sure.
Superintendent, and they voted no on me.
Yeah, they voted.
So, I mean,
And even because I voted no for Mr. Cruz and I became president, didn't mean I was gonna be holding a grudge against that man. You know, I gotta work side by side with whoever it is. I'm not here to hold grudges or anything, by no means, even if I didn't vote for the man, even if I thought somebody else was better. That's just the way it
that's
is.
fine as a board member, but my thing is, and you said, Jay, I don't know, for 2 years, I mean, you guys were like,
It's like Mr. Cruz said, the honeymoon ends.
People get power, things change.
So,
If I may, sir,
go ahead, sir, by all means.
I've been here listening to what's been mentioned here and discussed, and first of all, we seem to have forgotten that we are a small school district, and the people on this board have relatives working everywhere, including in the school district. Fortunately, at this time in my life, I don't have anybody working for the school district, but it's hard finding employees in a small district from a small community, especially in the area of teachers and even administrators, believe it or not. We constantly have to advertise outside the district and have to interview, and I'm using the word have to, interview people that are not from within the district or the community because of the fact that our resources, even in reference to manpower, are limited. So we do with what we have. And that includes voting. Now, Mr. Cruz has already clarified the issue of nepotism, where if it's done as a group, there is no nepotism. To do as you recommend, Ms. Young, which is to abstain, have the board members that have relatives working in the school district, when it came time to give pay raises, et cetera, we wouldn't be able to conduct business. Because abstain, 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 that would only leave you and me.
I don't know.
No, ma'am.
I'm just trained that it's,
I know you don't care, but I want you to listen out to what I have to say. I listen to what you have said. I want you to do that, give me the same courtesy. You say no, I say yes. What happens to the motion? It dies. It's not logical, it's not practical. We're not gonna get anywhere that way. Again, our attorneys, and I'm pretty sure any attorney would say that this is, when we're dealing with groups, there's no issue of nepotism. So I don't understand your frame of mind when you make those comments. We won't get anything done. That's all I'm gonna say for now.
I've been trained very different. Ray always backs away from the table when it has something to do with Anita. Even Miss Salinas told him one night, she said, "You don't need to abstain." He said, "No, I'm gonna abstain."
With individual employees, I can see that
More
happen.
people involved.
This is group, okay? Right now, we're gonna be dealing with tables. That's a group, and we're going by classifications, what are they called, ma'am? AP1, AP2, whatever the, that's grouping, okay? Individually, if we cannot go into the area of our superintendent and their authority. If our superintendent can or wants to or feels that is in the best interest of the district to move an administrator horizontally, then we cannot interfere with that. The only way we would be able to say something, if I'm correct, Mr. Cruz, if the attempt is to raise the salary.
Right, correct. And just also for point of reference, that before Mr. Garcia became president, the school district board of trustees had elected Mr. Bonilla, if I recall correctly, to be the board president. And at that time, I did not communicate with any other board member except Mr. Bonilla. When Mr. Bonilla was replaced by, I believe, a board meeting or whatever.
Realignment.
And it was Mr. Garcia. again, Mr. Espinosa is more board president, then I'm not gonna communicate, just like I don't do now with Mr. Bonilla or Mr. Garcia, I will communicate with Mr. Espinosa. You know, our obligation is to work day to day with administration, but at the end of the day, it's for the protection of the school system. And for the record, this school system has only one state court proceeding in litigation, and everything else, because we work really hard proactively to fend off complaints and to deal with issues that may be thorny without having to invoke the board's time and the board's attention to basically be proactive and minimize litigation. I think we have done it successfully.
Joke.
Anybody has any comments?
I do.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Next. I think about everything that, Ms. Young posted on social, and it reminds me of some of the actions of Justice Clarence in the Supreme Court, where Hakeem Jeffries, a representative from New York, tells them, why are you such a hater? Why are you such a hater? You hate on teachers, you hate on staff, you hate on administrators, you hate on athletes, you hate on stipends, you hate on central office, you hate on our interims. The only person that you should have hated on was the person that you held in a pedestal when I became a board member. And I'm going to talk about that. Back in 2016, I became a board member, and some of the board members, Ms. Young was one, had the business manager on a pedestal, okay? That he saved them all this money, took care of their money, while all along he was only taking care of himself, okay? And our tables do not lie. I remember coming in because people would tell me, they don't pay us. They don't pay us. We're frozen. I mean, our cafeteria workers were making minimum wage. Some bus drivers, $7, $8. So I remember requesting all that information. I want to see everything. And I remember going as far back as 2013 or 14, and our teachers were frozen while his salary kept growing. And when you all were approving the tables here, his salary climbed up to $103,000, while a 18, 17, 20-year teacher was at $53,000 with a degree. Okay, he didn't have no degree, it was just his experience. He took care of himself. The money didn't trickle down. It didn't trickle down. Imagine not catching that. And it took me a while. It took me a while to learn the ropes, to see, why isn't the money moving? Why are our teachers not getting paid? Where is the money? Where is the money? And at the time, I had teachers telling me, Nora, they're offering me a job over there. I might go. I might go. It's more money. Begging them, come on down. We'll give you more money. We'll give you more money, more money, more money. But they didn't. Why? Because they love Crystal City. They love Crystal City. Okay? So, if you're talking as far back as 2013, where teachers were still earning $40,000 a year, but our business manager was earning almost the same as a superintendent, what does that tell us? Who are we actually here for? We work so hard, and I commend all of you for doing the right thing and changing the tables. Nobody can claim to come in here and say overnight that things change. It took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of hard work from Central, from the interims, from HR. It took a lot of work to change those tables, but we finally did it. And I know there's more work to be done with inflation, insurance. I understand that we're not done. We're not done. And I appreciate, their patience. But I don't singularly attack a staff member, okay? Because my mom was a school board member. She was a school board member, and she cared about this community wholeheartedly. This community meant everything for her. I remember I have pictures of her with our cafeteria ladies because she cared about them. Well, that's what she instilled in me. I care about our employees. And most importantly, I care about the people that are homegrown. I'm happy when we have people that are holding the positions because of their hard work, whether it be at Central, at the head of the school, at HR, as a principal. We should be happy. We should embrace these moments because they're from this town. They're from this town in Crystal City. We're supposed to be embracing and commending those people.
And to add to that, I'm sorry, but if you're at central office, I'm sorry, but you can't punish those people for excelling in what they do.
Exactly.
You can't punish them for going out and getting their masters. You can't punish them for wanting to be, a special ed director. I mean, we have an next one right there. We can't punish those people just because they're making more money than other people.
And I already,
That's what they choose to do, and you just can't blame them for it.
I'm not finished.
I have
I'm not
a-
finished, Ray. I'm not finished. And I'm gonna share a couple of stories. I'm gonna share one, that math teacher, that they always after her, come. But she never left. She's still here. She loves it here. And she's never gonna leave. Okay? We have this story about this young girl who grew up in a single family home. Okay? Pregnant at 19. Okay? Divorced. Okay? Her husband went to prison. So she got divorced. 3 little kids. And she said, I don't want this life for my children. Okay? So she depended on her father, on her mother, on her brothers, because she was not going to be a statistic and fail and be part of a program. Okay? She educated herself. She went to college. She worked as a teacher. And she got her master's. She worked on her certificate to become a principal. And right now, she's one of the best principals that we have. I commend Noemi Lopez for being a survivor and coming from a hard childhood. But she made it. She made it, why? Because of the support of her family, because of the love she had for her children. She does what she does because of the love that she has for her students. And we should embrace that, regardless if she's related to Cruz Mata. She was here first, okay? We have, I remember teachers from the junior high sharing with me how you cried because you didn't want to leave your campus. You cried because you loved the junior high, and the employees there had grown so attached to you. But you followed your superior's directive and you moved over here. Okay? And you've embraced this position. You embraced the position, and we should be happy because you could have moved anywhere else. You and Eric could have lived in Austin. You could have made your living over there. Serve, who knows, the kids of the Austin School District, I don't know. But you all chose to come back here. Okay? And nothing brings me more joy, more happiness when I see somebody from Crystal City excelling, because that's who we should be supporting regardless of what title you hold. We should be happy. We should be proud of them. We shouldn't bash them, degrade them, or accuse them. We're not about that. We're better. We're better than that because you're from here. They're homegrown.
Can I answer your question before I forget?
Almost done. So, I mean, I just want to say, the past, few years, and no offense to our directors, but I know that the scale was going to look different, but we didn't approve it. We didn't give you guys that big of a salary, no offense. Okay? I mean, I just felt that that money that we approved, last year for 2021 had to be about our teachers. It had to be about our teachers because they had sat idly by, for years. And I always get on my sister, because my sister was a board member, okay? I always get on her, because she was a board member too, okay? She's not off the hook. I talk to her and I tell her, y'all should have done more for our teachers. And it wasn't easy, guys. 5 years as a board member, but we did it. It happened. We changed those tables. And I hope that we continue to move forward. And lastly, I just want to say, these last 2 years have been like hard. Reading Ms. Young's post and lying to people and telling them this and that, I'm still waiting for you to deliver to them. I'm still waiting for TA to come shut down our doors, get rid of us. I'm still waiting, and I bet they're waiting too. They're waiting.
Possibility.
They're waiting for you. They're waiting to,
Like Crystal.
they're waiting, like you said, they're gonna come close us down. They're gonna remove us. None of your complaints have held water. None of them, Peggy. And, you're lying to ex-employees, to ex-board members. They're at the tip of their computers just waiting to see when CCISD is gonna fail, and it hasn't happened for you.
We don't,
And I hope,
never bring
and I
anything from.
hope and pray that you don't get your wish. And that's all I got.
Okay, just a comment, because, I know, you're saying about, you like to see, Crystal City people here and working for the district. How many people have you pushed out of the district also?
Who?
You,
But who did I push out?
Coach
Do I have-
Lopez,
Do I have that authority? Oh, don't give me that, Ray. Don't give me that. We can't discuss that. Let the man rest in peace.
there's about 10
Let the
people
man
that,
rest in peace, sir.
that
can't.
you got out of that,
Me?
you got out of that,
I didn't know I had that much power.
no,
I didn't know I had
you
that.
had the votes.
No. My vote is my vote, Ray. Just like yours. Just like yours. Mine is
So you
one.
are sympathetic,
It has
people
nothing.
that put us.
Ray, things change. Things change. But you're very hard to accept change. You are.
No.
Okay, yes, you are. Things change and, you,
Sometimes-
man, you post some things.
Things change
How
for your benefit,
people, what benefit? What do I have to win?
because
What? Tell me one thing that benefits me.
don't like that person and you.
No, sir. No, sir. No.
What happened last year with Roxy Montoya?
Mr. President,
I don't think
They're on
that.
the agenda.
from the
Why don't you
agenda
ask
item,
our employees?
All right.
Why don't you ask our
I
employees?
asked her supervisor and she said,
Our employees, Ray. Our employees.
Here we go. Let's move on, please.
I excuse myself. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Safe travels.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to B, consider to approve the emergency operating plans for CrystalCity ISD, Ms. Bronis.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the emergency operating plans and all annexing supporting documentation for the Crystal City Independent School District as discussed and closed.
I move, after the second, I want to make a comment or ask a question.
Motion by Mr. Bonilla, second by Mr. Cruz Mata.
question,
Go ahead.
Ms. Brown, when do you think this thing will be ready, by the beginning of school district? Or,
Just need to make that change to page 88 and we can release it.
and then once it's approved, it will go out to the community? Because I know a lot of persons are concerned about what is it that we're gonna be doing for the safety of our
Correct.
kids.
Yes, sir.
My question, sir, was, this is a living document, right?
Correct.
One subject to
Correct.
Yes.
amendment that we need to amend.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
I just want to say, commend you all for putting it together. Thank you very much for presenting it to us. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0. All right, C, Ms. Bronis.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the employment of new professional personnel for the 22-23 school year as discussed and closed.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bonilla, second by by Nori Guerrero. Any comments or questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0. All right, D.
Recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the employment of new at-will personnel for the 22-23 school year as discussed and closed.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Mata, second by Ms. Nora Guerrero. Any comments or questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0. 7, action items, discuss, consider to adopt a tiered salary increase for Crystal City ISD employees for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Brown?
So in your packet, you should have received a proposed salary budget for 22-23, for the 22-23 school year that highlights option 1, 2, and 3. This is continued discussions from the last couple of board meetings. Mr. Florencio Cepeda, our consultant, our financial consultant, will walk you through that first option. We'll also walk you through option 2 and a possible option 3. Mr. Cepeda?
Thank you. Good evening, board members and colleagues that are here at the meeting. I want to, before I begin this presentation,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to acknowledge everyone for their hard work, both with the leadership of the superintendent, HR, the district personnel, and you as board members have allowed the district to provide and give pay raises throughout these past academic school years. Within the hiring process, you all have hired and the board have approved the hiring of the best and most qualified staff members for each and every position, just like you did a minute ago. That is one of the responsibilities of the HR department and Crystal City Independent School District. After the hiring of these staff members, the following school year, the responsibility lies upon the superintendent, the departments, and you all as board members to retain those qualified individuals and staff members for these positions. One of those impeding factors, and one of those factors for those staff members to stay and be retained by your district is compensation. For that reason, I bring these 3 options to the table after a lot of consideration. One of those considerations, of course, is the budget, and number 2 is our projected revenues. So I'll walk you through each and one of these options. The option number 1, you'll see a chart that has different, 2 different tables, one on the on the left-hand side that says total payroll cost for proposed pay increase. Within that chart, you will see different categories. You will see one labeled 4. That 4 represents teachers, nurses, librarians, and counselors. The next row are for those staff members that are making less than $70,000 a year.
Let me ask you a question. You said which category of people are of staff?
That is correct.
No, which you mentioned.
You're talking about the number 4?
Yes. Number 4, teachers, nurses.
No, you mentioned for the teachers, the category of the people that are the teachers.
Nurses.
But it's not all nurses, right?
Yes, it's teachers, nurses, librarians, and counselors.
In this one that we have here, I don't know if they changed it, it said, RNs.
Aren't.
Well, they're all RNs.
Well, there's LVMs also.
That's-
Are they included?
Yes, both that category of RNs and LVNs.
Because over here, we have a page for under paraprofessionals for LVNs.
Yeah.
So we're using this one here,
But they'll get it
including all nurses here.
up where they're at.
In this calculation, it's all nurses. Okay,
All nurses under the teacher category.
that is correct.
Okay.
So why do we have them in another pay scale though, the nurses?
No, this is just for them to get the increase.
Right.
They're not moving pay scales.
Okay,
This is just the increase, yes.
so like Melissa said, if they're in the at-wills with whoever else, they're gonna get 3%, but where they're at?
Right.
Yes.
Where they're at.
Yes, ma'am. The next group of staff members are all of those staff members that are making under $70,000.
That are not teachers and nurses and.
That is correct, yes, ma'am. Yes, good clarification.
Coaches,
Yes, the next group are those staff members that are making less, greater than 70,000, and their projected pay increase is 1%. All of the others that have days next to them, those are all of our hourly staff members. So for the first group, we're projecting a 3% raise. The next group, a 2% raise. The third, a 1% raise. And all the others are salary staff members that we'd like to, send to you guys that we increase them by a $2 an hour pay raise. The chart that all of those next columns are where the income is coming from to pay these staff members. Your local, your state, our grants, and then the last column would be our grand total for each one of these groups. This tiered group comes from, if we begin taking a look at who these groups are, your teachers, your nurses, your librarians, and your counselors, that is a group of staff members that are closest to the students. Those are the ones that are providing more direct service to the students, from teaching to making sure that they're well as far as their health is concerned and so forth. As we move up the ladder, you'll see that the pay raise is less. The 2% are for those staff members that are under 70, and the 1% is for those staff members that are making over 70. All the others, again, are hourly staff members, and we are proposing a $2 per hour pay increase.
Sir, if I may, I just want a point of clarification.
Yes, sir.
The use of the greater than and less than symbol, sir, I think they need to be reversed.
Okay?
For the 2%, it should be less than. And for the 1%, it should be greater than. And the other point I wanted to make, that the increase, if you increase somebody making more than 70%, 1%, it might be equal to somebody one under, making under 70%. So it all depends, it's all relative.
Good point. If we take a look at those lines going all the way across over to the right-hand side, you'll see that those that are making over the 70 and under the $70,000 range, the cost is almost identical. And the reason for that is because you have more staff members in one category than you do in the other. So if we take a look at that very first chart, you will see that our teachers, nurses, librarians, and counselors, their pay increase as compared to last year will be $184,608. For those staff members that are making less than 70, it'll cost us $14,667. For those group of staff members that are making over 70, it'll cost $14,654. The rest of those.
Teachers do we have that are making 70,000?
No, he's talking about his
Yes.
central office principal.
No, it's okay. I was just.
Yes, ma'am. So that's option number one. It will cost the district a grand total of $330,569 for that pay increase. If we go to option number two, same scenario, except the group of four, which are your teachers, your nurses, your librarians, and counselors, they're getting a 4% increase. But our hourly staff members, we brought that down to a pay increase of $1 an hour. That'll cost the district $12,288,665. So all the way across over to the right-hand side, you will see that the pay increase for the group of 4 is now $230,760. And the next two groups stay the same because we're not gonna touch those. And then those staff members that are our hourly staff members that are 176 days all the way to 240 days, their projected cost is gonna come down. So if you choose to adopt option number 2 with a 4% increase to your teachers and a $1 an hour pay raise for your hourly staff members, it'll cost the district $12,288,665. We also wanted to include option number 3. And that's on the next page. Option number 3, if you take a look at the group of 4, we will keep the 3% as in option number 1, but include a $1,000 stipend for retention for all of your nurses, your teachers, your counselors. That group, we want to incentivize them to stay here in Crystal City ISD. That will cost the district $5,349,211. The next two groups stay the same, and we wanted to maintain that $2 an hour pay raise for all of our hourly staff members. These 3 options, it'll cost the district a total of $12,449,569. These 3 options, whichever one you all decide to adopt, are very doable options. They are.
Let me ask you an option that has come to my head.
Yes, sir.
Is it doable, like you're saying? Like on option 3, instead of paying the 4% for the 4, which are the teachers, we keep it at 4, like it's on,
Option 2.
and the rest, we keep the same, the $2, the 2%, 1%, 2%. And we give everybody a $2,000 retention stipend.
We have thought about all the different options.
Is this doable?
That would be very difficult. And I wanna explain.
Well, then 1,000.
Yeah, so let me answer your question. That's very difficult, and the reason for that is because, as you all know, there are 2 major focuses within the state right now. We're gonna have to spend a lot of money for school safety and the academic achievement of our students.
But on the school safety, we took $4 million that was allocated to the athletic thing. That was already there. So it's not like, I mean,
I think it was
we have a
1.5
meeting.
million. It was 1.5 million que we.
Well, but that was 1 million, but we also took from the athletic fund balance that we had said, if the bond does not pass, then we have money to do it within house. We took we approve 1,000,000 something for the fences, but for the other things, we took $4 million from the athletic fund. I don't know if you're aware of that.
It's really important to, as we begin these dialogues about pay increases, that if we, let's say that the board approves a 4% pay increase for your teachers, everything else stays the same. That 4% will then, the district will have to absorb that cost, not only this year, but every year thereafter.
Forever.
Forever, yes, ma'am.
Can we give them a 4,000 stipend?
But that doesn't pay into their retirement.
Well, that's the thing, I mean.
I mean, at the end of their career, they don't.
That's what I want, I mean, that they get the money so for retirement purposes. I know we have to observe it, but every year, I mean,
Proposing it for everybody or just the teachers?
no, the teachers, the 4%, but, and then keep it as the 2% for the ones that, for the classroom teachers, 1%, the $2 for the paraprofessional, but give everybody también a stipend, a retention stipend for $2, not only the teachers, but everybody.
Mrs. Garcia, or maybe Ms. Briones, do y'all remember what was the increase for the, I didn't bring my scale, I was in a hurry. What did we give them last year, everybody else? Like here, where we have $2.
The hourlies?
Yeah, do you remember?
$1.
$1.50?
So those are, some of those options that we talk about, that you were mentioning, will put a strain on your budget, particularly with the expenditures that need to occur this academic school year for student safety.
Who's not to say that, I mean, if we approve either option, it could always change in the future if we start getting more revenue.
That could happen, but for right now, I was taking a look at a longitudinal study of your student enrollment. You all are losing students, and your students are the ones per ADA that bring in your revenues. So you want to be very careful when you start assigning and giving out large pay raises to different.
I don't think there's a large pay raise. Other districts, I mean, I've been seeing 8%, I mean.
They don't have our budget, though.
I don't know, this is what I would like to see, the 4% for the teachers
Yeah.
and $1,000 stipend.
Stewards of finance.
Adina?
I said, we have to be good stewards of finance.
I mean, we just gave them a raise apenas last year, now we're increasing it, I mean.
And that's what Florencia is saying, is that we have to be able to sustain. The grants are going to go away pretty soon.
Yes.
We will not have grant money to supplement some of the stipends that we have been giving out, and that's just a natural course of a grant. They run out of funds. So the district will have to continue supporting, and the district needs to always keep in mind that we have to always remain solvent.
But if you're giving 4% to the teachers, it doesn't mean like, I mean, we're gonna have teachers that it's their first year of teaching, I mean, they're not gonna be getting that much, I mean, there's some that are 10, it's not like, I mean, have you looked at that? First year teacher, second year teacher, how much would be 4%? What is it that they're getting with 4%, somebody that's been working for 4 or 5 years?
I didn't calculate it by each and every.
Well, I mean, can you calculate that right now on?
70, 60?
How much?
They would get, first through fifth.
A teacher that has been teaching 5 years,
1760,
we give him 4% or 3%, how much is that?
1760,
1760?
more or less, yeah.
So do we have our final summary of finances?
No, not until September. And the reason for that is because, as you all know, TEA is holding harmless the school districts for the second, the third, and the fourth 6 weeks. TEA will recalculate our final summary of finance based on the 2018-2019 ADA for that particular school year because our attendance was so bad.
Exactly. And we're going to lose, I know.
Yes, we are.
But here we can saying we don't give teachers a raise unless.
This looks like, down here, it looks like we're taking away the $2 that we approved at the last meeting.
Yeah, so you have option number one.
Nothing has been approved.
Option number 2, and then option number 3. I wanted to.
We could go with option number 1 and give a $1,000 type. We could.
Well, that's option 3.
That's option 3.
But that, yeah.
Option 3.
Correct me if I may, sir.
Go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This increase, let's say we go with 4%. What's going to be affected on the table?
It's gonna be your hourlies. They get $1 instead of.
No, I'm talking about the 4% for the teachers
It's more
and
money.
the.
And
Same.
You can't go back.
If you look at option 2, it's got teachers, counselors, okay, they get 4%, less than 70 gets 2, over 70 gets 1, then your hourlies get $1. If you go to option 1, the hourlies get $2, and then 3, 2, 1.
I understand that. I'm just concerned about the actual salary scales. If we're going to increase, give everybody a 4% raise, how is it going to affect our scales?
So if you take a look at option 1 at that last column, so, and Florencia, correct me if I'm wrong, the total increase to the salary tables from last year to this year will be that 759,000. So we'll increase the tables by that much. For option 1, option 2.
How would it be reflected on the actual table, except for the teachers?
So I guess
Right now,
I'm sorry.
no, it's okay, sir, but I'm gonna ask you to step in ahorita. Right now, a teacher with no experience gets 44,000 beginning salary.
So what would it be now?
With a 4% increase, is that gonna go up to
45?
45 or,
Whatever the additional.
Yes, it would go up.
Yes.
and is that the amount that's gonna go up for everybody?
Teachers.
Is that every single one with one experience too?
Well, no, now, it depends what they make now.
Everybody's
Well,
4% more if you go.
We don't go by teachers, we go by years of experience. We go by where they're at. The dollar amount will increase by the 4%, 3%, whatever is approved.
Based on your
Based on
years of
your-
experience.
Yes, based on your years of experience.
Salary scale is gonna stay the same. All we're gonna do is, for this year, those teachers that, let's say, one has 10 years of experience and making 51,000, they're gonna get a 4% increase or 3%.
Yeah, but we do that way, we have to do it every year. So next year's gonna be 4% higher too. Can't go back next year. Can't say just for this year.
So it's gonna raise the pay
Yes,
scale
yes.
by that percent, so those things are gonna change,
All of the scales will change by whatever percent you approve.
which will be 4%.
We can't change the scales before we get through this process.
I understand
Okay,
that.
so along the lines of Mr. Bonilla, let's say, for example, we have somebody at a pay scale of a 5. So it's 4%, they're gonna go, what, two or three more bumps up?
No.
No, their salary's gonna
It's just their
change.
salary.
They don't, the steps stay, the steps stay, the same as the money.
The money, the amount.
30,000 times 4, it's $1,200.
Ms. Benones, what is the deadline on this?
Well, the goal is to adopt a budget by August 15th. That is our goal. We're ready for that.
2 weeks from now.
In 2 weeks.
So we would love to have you guys make a decision today so that we can plug those into our budget and then make all, because your budget is about anywhere between 80 to 82% of your entire expenditure for the year. So based on the recommendation that you all give us, then we need to plug in our fixed costs. How much are we paying for water? How much are we paying for electricity?
And everything's going up.
Exactly. So the decision that you all make today would be awesome, because then we can plug in those fixed expenditures, and then we can tell the campuses, this is what is left. Per number of students, this is how much money you're going to get for your campus, this is how much money you'll get for your campus, and they can build their budget based on their campus improvement plan and their comprehensive needs assessment.
What is the total fund balance that we have right now?
Right now, I think you were about 10 million. Remember that by state law, you should have a minimum of 60 days worth of expenditure.
Operating.
That didn't change? That wasn't changed about 2-3 years ago?
No, they had proposed a change, but it wasn't voted on. They were going to increase it to 75 days.
So really, we only have about 6 million
Yes, ma'am.
to work with.
But to be on the safe side, I would recommend that we have 3 months, it's 90 days. Just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know I don't even know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
You're absolutely correct. Yes, sir.
Might not be around, so.
Yeah, you're right, don't
Make a motion, a good motion, maybe they'll go to your funeral or something.
Highway.
So on option 3,
Yeah.
we said that we couldn't do the 4% plus the $1,000 stipend and keep everybody at 2%, 1%, and $2. We can't do that. And also,
That would be difficult, he said. It goes into there, because we can't change it next year.
The 4% affects the pay scales. The 1,000 is just a one-time, it's a stipend for retention. So that wouldn't affect us in the
But-
future.
okay,
4% would change the pay scales, and that will affect us in the future.
the thing is that our pay scales, they barely resemble changed in
I know.
years and years, barely. And
Last year,
They were very low.
And I just want to mention that we've gone to recruiting sites, and everybody, I remember que me platicaron que everybody was at least starting pay 50,000. I mean, I'm not saying that we're going to do that right now, but most Texas is más o menos there at 50,000 for a starting pay teacher.
And they're
Not that far.
signing bonus of $5,000.
I mean, we're smaller, I understand our enrollment, I understand all of that, but we're not that far off either.
So, sir, you're saying whichever budget we go with, it'll be sustainable?
Yes.
At least,
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay, so the $1,000 stipend, we're only offering it to the teachers, nurse, them? Why can't we do it for everybody else? Just $1,000, everybody else, to be fair. I'm a very fair person.
yeah.
Yeah. Again, please be aware that the good thing about that $1,000 stipend
Don't have to give it.
is that you won't have to give it in future years, because the grants are going to be gone here very soon. And in addition, remember that we have all of these costs that we, as a school district, want to accomplish that are costly. There's talk about fencing our facilities. Can you imagine how much that's going to cost us? The school safety committee, I just met with them today, just for the first phase of making sure that our exterior doors and everything is within compliance and set, and your students are safe. $92,000. That's just on the outside, and we're not talking about the inside.
Again, sir, again, I mean, if I remember clearly, I mean, we moved $4 million from the athletic savings that we have for safety. So Where's that money?
So my understanding is that what you're saying is that you allocated $4 million from your.
There was more.
But it wasn't designated anywhere. The ex-superintendent just kind of left it there.
And say, in case the bond doesn't pass, we can do the things out of there. So where's that money?
So Ms. Fund Balance asked us to redesignate it.
There is currently some funds within this year's budget that we're not going to expend. And those funds that are left over, will be carried into your fund balance for next year. So it's like every year when you all create your budget at home. You say, I need $1,000 for my monthly mortgage because I'm going to be making $2,000 a month. All of a sudden you move some monies from your savings account and you put it into your checking account, right? So if you don't spend it, you're going to keep those $200 extra at the end of the year. So you will have some funds left over, about $1.2 million that are going to be in your local budget that we can place into your fund balance. With those monies, be very cautious about what you want to do with those.
So you already have an idea, like how much money in surplus do we have from this school year? About how much?
About 1.2.
So couldn't we use that? I mean, we have $9 million in the fund balance, use it. That's money that we could have spent and we didn't.
Ma'am, how much,
It's like
how many employees do we project to have this coming year?
Sarah?
300 and we include substitutes and their temporary hourlies, we're around 350 without, we're still about maybe 300.
I'm just talking about the employees that would qualify for a retention stipend.
Oh, you mean the four?
This is teachers, librarians,
Or just
I mean, everybody,
everybody.
and we did the hourlies also?
yeah, everybody.
Everybody.
How many would it be, ma'am?
Like
Is that about 300?
360?
360.
You're
Excluding
Substitute.
substitutes and,
With substitutes, that's recent.
Without substitutes, because we're not gonna give them anything.
no, it would be how many?
360, about.
60.
And the other thing, Ms. Ronia, we have a lot of new teachers that will not qualify for the retention because, I mean, they're just coming.
I understand, sir, I understand, sir.
So that would be less.
So the total amount would be about $360,000. That would include the 1,000 that's being recommended in option 3.
That is correct.
It's a little bit more because option 3 only has it for the teachers, librarians, counselors, and.
Nurses.
I think that's feasible.
I think we have enough out of what?
So how many more is that? The 2%, the 1%, and the hourlies, how many people is that? That's how much more we're looking at.
360.
360 is already including the teachers, exclude the teachers because they're already counted for.
No, but if you clear them out, total, including the 1,000 that, and option 3 would be
I
360,000.
know, but the teachers are already counted. So how many more thousands of dollars would it be to include the 2%, the 1%, and the hourlies? That's my question.
In stipend?
Yeah.
Your $1,000 stipend. Right now, the fours are included. How much?
So what is the difference, she's asking what is the difference of the fours that are included on the $1,000 stipend
To add on
with
the,
everybody else?
add everybody
It would be
else.
whatever,
About 180.
360 minus
The teachers,
whatever the
right.
teacher.
About 180.
Okay, so it's only $180,000 more.
So it'll be $180,000 more.
No más.
Well, in the overall picture, it's not that much.
And we don't know what kind of state aid we're getting, do we?
State aid, it's, I think I gave you those figures last week on your, as projected revenue.
Because I know we have the superintendent buyout we're not getting. I know we had 2 programs we didn't spend money on, we're not getting that. So what is it? Do you have any idea?
I don't know, but I did calculate, I think it's on your workbook in there. It's projected revenue. So, you're projected to get 28.3 million, from all, both local, state, and your grants. What remains of your grants? Now, remember, but your grants are going to be expired.
Yep, state.
Ma'am, of the costs that we've been looking into, dealing with security, do we see any of those monies coming from the state?
Not as of
Reimbursement?
yet. Not as of yet. We have to submit all of our data, all of our documentation to TA before September the 1st, and then based on how we look collectively as a state, then they will determine what state it will look at. But right now, we're not talking dollar amounts.
So you're talking about across the state, not just
Across
with
the
us?
state, not just for.
And they
not
pretty
just-
much,
The moment it's gonna come from the.
Correct. And the state is expecting us to make.
Start on it.
first, yes, not to wait.
yeah, not to wait.
And what is the amount that we're looking at for that?
We don't, oh, for us, for sure, we know that we're probably going to incur the 1.5 million that we know.
Okay, all right.
That we designated, and that may increase because we have to look at very specific fencing design, because we don't want schools to look like prisons, so we have to make sure that they're still inviting to the public, so that may increase our costs. We had that conversation a little bit earlier on today. If you want to extend the fencing to cover more areas so that we can offer more protection to the schools, then of course that's gonna take a little bit more money. So, but for sure, we know we'll incur the 1.5.
I make a motion to go with option 3. Everybody's getting some kind of a raise, even the dollar, they're getting a $2 raise. So I mean, I think it's, in my opinion, it's fair. It's a hard decision because I really wanted more, but option 3 for right now is doable, as you mentioned. We also have to keep in mind that we have facilities that need to be taken care of. We got a baseball field, we got a football field that needs to get looked at. So I really don't want to mess around with that monies that had been in the general fund. In addition to that, who's not to say that we could always come back in December and do a stipend, another stipend for bonus or whatever. That's my motion.
Second.
So that's to do the 3% plus 1,000 for those 4 groups, 2% for less than 70,000, 1% for over 70,000, and then the $2 for the hourly employees.
To consider a stipend in December, if possible.
I would
Everybody
like to
else.
make a alternate motion, sir.
Okay, hold on.
Motion would be to go with a variation of option 3, that we stay with the 3% for the category 4, the 2% and the 1%, the $2 increase, but that the stipend be extended to all employees.
I second it. I think they deserve it, everybody. I know we have.
So I got an alternative motion by Mr. Bonilla to pretty much add 1,000 to every employee on option number 3. Second by Mr. Reyes-Espinosa. Any comments or questions?
I mean, the only issue that I have with that, it's an additional money. I mean, I get what you guys are doing, but at the same time, our teachers are the ones that are in the trenches. Those are the ones that deserve it the most.
Everybody.
I mean,
Everybody.
who deals with the
Can you
students?
wait a second?
Who deals
I'm
with,
just giving my opinion. Pero
We're gonna go in the second one, yeah, the first one does.
And I'm going with what you said about that we're kind of carrying off $1 million something, so.
Into the fund.
If we can do that extra $180,000 and it's not gonna be a big burden on the district, I mean, I can do it.
All right, so I got a motion by Mr. Bonilla, second by Mr. Espinosa. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, please raise your hand.
For Bonias.
Motion passes 7-0. All right,
Thank you, Florida.
thank you.
We'll be ready to approve it August 15th.
Now we can move.
Okay?
And so we can
Now we
bring, in December, we can bring.
We can
something
consider
else.
it.
So let's go ahead and go to B, please. Discussion and consider to adopt the National Incident Management System in order to ensure CCISD is eligible to receive federal Preparedness Fund, Ms. Bronis?
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve to adopt the National Incident Management System in order to ensure it is eligible to receive federal preparedness funds. Mr. Guajardo?
You stepped out.
Please step down. Mr. Fernandez?
What are we voting for now?
The NIMS.
There's one from the back, I missed it.
Something about NIMS from Brad. Sorry. I didn't mean to put down anything. Something of NIMS.
Should we see?
It's really a political satire. It's a political satire. Well, that's what I need to, right? That's what I need to. Man, we still haven't adopted the pay scales, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we need to go through this first before we move on to the next one.
Okay, I got some questions.
Jesse?
The NIMS is for the district to be allowed to have federal funding if needed in the future for anything regarding security and type of situations that occur. NIMS is also required for all our staff to be trained. So we go and apply the information, spit it out to our staff members so they can train on NIMS. We also have incident command system to be in place so that they all can know what incident command is. If you're aware of situation in Uvalde, incident command system was lacking. Here, we want to have incident command in every campus and then have a top-down scale from the principal and to the next in command and to that next in command and to the fourth person in command. Our larger scale, which is the district and central office, and our police.
This system would fall under the umbrella of.
The emergency operation plans, it works in conjunction with it.
Right, in conjunction with the emergency.
Any other questions? Any motions? So move. I got a motion by Mr. Bonilla. Second by Mr. Cruz Mata. Any comments or questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, Jesse.
C, discuss and consider to approve the purchase of STEM scopes math instructional resources for the 22-23 school year.
The recommendation is that the Board of Trustees approve the purchase of the STEM Scopes math resource for the 22-23 school year. This is so that we can have alignment between all the math grade levels.
This is it's just a program.
Yes, sir.
Not
It's a resource.
actual,
It's a resource.
Have alignment between who, what grades are what?
Between all the grade levels.
Starting at,
Kinder.
every time I see the word scope, it scares me, I get scared.
It's a scope. It's a
C-scope.
It's a scope.
I'm serious. That's a lot of sleep over there.
You don't teach no more, sir. Behave.
did somebody make a motion?
Is that your recommendation?
Yeah, that is my recommendation, yes.
I'll move.
Second?
Motion by Mr. Cruz Mata.
Oh.
No?
But it was Melissa.
That's me?
Oh, sorry, didn't hear Melissa.
Okay.
I got a motion by Ms. Melissa Guerrero, second by Mr. Cruz Mata.
Okay.
What, lift you up.
Any other comments or questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0. D, discuss, consider to approve the purchase of the STEM Scopes online science for the 22-23 year.
The recommendation is the Board of Trustees approve the purchase of STEM Scope Science resources for the 22-23 school year, so that we can have vertical alignment between the grade levels K-12.
I'll move.
I got a motion by Ms. Melissa Guerrero. Second by Mr.
That'd be a good program.
They're good.
That's what I say.
They're
Any other
research.
comments or questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0. Number 8, adjournment.
I move.
Motion by Ms. Melissa Guerrero,
Second.
second by Nora Guerrero. Any comments or questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0. Time is? 8:03.
So the,
Is there dinner?
here too.
Yeah, eran taquitos de.
LB?